Are you also tired of the fact that a lot of the cart assembler upgrades have been totally useless compared to the price? Well, wait no longer, 8 of the upgrades have now been buffed, so without further ado, let's take a closer look. So first of all, we have the Experienced Assembler, the one that makes your cart assembler assemble your carts faster, but also increasing the fuel cost by a bit. That increment of fuel has been decreased a bit, so instead of plus 36% of fuel, it's just plus 30, and the same has been done for the new era one, so instead of plus 3,600, we just have plus 3,000%, which is quite a lot still. We have the upgrade module Knowledge and the upgrade Industrial Espionage, which are used to decrease the time it takes to modify, not modify, but to assemble and disassemble specific modules on the card. So before we had 15 seconds on this one, so moduling assembling time minus 15 seconds and 30 seconds on this one. Now we have 37 seconds and 125. So that's almost, well, not almost, that's more than 2 minutes per module that it's going to be decreased by. We also have the assembling efficiency being decreased, so it's not going to assemble it as fast. It's not by a lot, it's just 1%. But instead of having 1% on the lower tier and 2% on the higher tier, we now have 1% on both. But as you also can see, we have a third effect, the cart assembling time, and that's a flat amount of time that is always applied on the cart itself. So we're actually assembling a cart 250 seconds faster. So that's more than 4 minutes there. Yes, that is put on top of the minus 37 seconds for each, and then here we have 700 seconds, which is more than 10 minutes, more than 11 minutes actually. That is put on top of the 2 minutes for each one, and you can stack them. So if you put multiple Industrial Espionage on a cart assembler, you will get like 11 minutes, 11 minutes, 11 minutes, and so on. So you can sort of decrease it by an hour flat if you make 6 of these. Plus minus a lot per module as well, about 12 minutes per module. So that's quite good. So now it's actually worth making these. These still cost the same thing, and that's quite a lot. So now it actually makes sense to make them. So some were good to make anyways, like the new era was quite nice, and the modifier and things like that. But yeah, so now there's a reason to make these ones as well for specific modules. But still, it's not as efficient when you go with like the Galgadorian drill, just because, well, it's a flat amount and it's going to decrease the efficiency. If you want to build super carts with like the Galgadorian drill, the new era is still better. But if you want to make carts with a lot of modules that might not have the top tier ones, then this is totally the best option. So right, that's those 4. Then we have 4 to go. We have the ones that increases the capacity of the energy storage. And instead of having 4,000 and 8,000, we now have 5,000 and 12,000. And furthermore, we have another effect that has been added. So the lower tier generates 4 units of power per minute, just passively, no cost at all. And the higher tier 1 generates 200 units of power per minute. So if we check this out, it has been fully upgraded with the power crystal upgrade. So if I click here, as we can see, it's going to generate power for us. As you also can see, we have a ton of power in here. We have 46,000 units out of 76,000 units. So before we had a cap at 32,000, so you couldn't increase the max further than to 32,000. Now that cap is gone. So now if you upgrade it completely with power crystals, you will get 76,000. 76,000 is about 3 stacks of coal, so it can store a lot. But as you might expect, the passive generation is not too good. So even if you have 6 upgrades here of the better tier, you're not going to be able to run the well, you won't be able to assemble a cart and still get power. You will decrease power, but not as quickly. But since we get a lot of room as well for power in the fuel level meter can store a lot, like we can go up to 76,000 instead of just 4,000. We can store a big buffer and then just consume that while we're starting to assemble our cart later on. So that's that part. And then the final part are the 2 disassembling modules. So these are good for when you want to disassemble modules from your card. So this is just going to decrease the time per module you want to disassemble, while this is going to decrease the time you want to disassemble per module, but it's also going to increase the time per module you want to assemble. So it's going to be like a drawback there, that if you want to assemble things when you have entropy, it's going to increase the time a bit as well. So we used to have, what was it, 40 seconds. Now we have 400 seconds, so that's 10 times higher. And here we used to have 160 seconds, and now we have 1,600 seconds. That's also a factor of 10. And 1,600 seconds, that's almost 26 minutes. So per module you want to disassemble, if you use the upgrade entropy, then per module there it's going to be decreased by 26 minutes. So if you have a module that is taking less than 26 minutes to be disassembled, then you will get that back right away if you don't disassemble a lot of things at the same time. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you later.